Good evening and welcome to Suffering in Silence with Minister Tia on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here with you every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Love Bay family, we are continuing to rise out of the ashes together. Our topic on this evening is setting goals for your life. Our guest is Fadhwa Yusuf, who is host of Gems of Life on her own program on Love Bay. And our co host for the evening is Erin Mitchell. And Love Bay, first, I want to tell you on this Friday, I'm actually in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm here for a convocation with the United Assemblies in Christ. So if you hear some background noise, there's some stuff going on behind me with UAIC. Um, but listeners, if you have any questions for our guest or for our co-host, you can email us at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com, or you can text us at 437-778-3299. And also, if you have any resources that you would like to share with us on a national or local level from your country, your community, your faith organizations, or any local organizations, you can also email us at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com. And with that, Erin, if you would greet our listeners on this evening.
Hi, Love Bay Radio listeners. It's so good to be with you from around the world and connect via the radio waves. And it's just such a pleasure to be with really beautiful, powerful leaders in this circle and to really hear from our guest, Fadhwa, and have her share with all of our listeners as she does on her own show as well here. Share with all of our listeners and for me to hear her words of wisdom and how to set positive goals for our lives and how to really gain traction by getting to know ourselves more. So thank you so much for having me and including me in this circle. I really appreciate all the work that both of you do as leaders, as women, as people that love women and children and men and the earth. And it's just so good to be here with each of you today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And Love Bay also, Erin is one of my beloved board members on my nonprofit Rise Out of the Ashes Inc. So Erin, I thank you for that as well. Fadwa, if you would say hello to our listeners on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. It's Friday. It's amazing. It's a beautiful day. Miss Tia, Miss Erin, thank you so much for having me here. And Love Bay, I usually meet you on Mondays. So here's a flip, right? I am here on a Friday evening with this amazing, phenomenal, beautiful souls. So I just want to say thank you all to our Love Bay family globally who actually tune in to Love Bay and listening in to all the amazing shows that we bring to you. I just want to say thank you for showering us with your presence once again.
Thank you so much. Love Bay, as usual, we want to start sharing some resources with you. First, I want to mention my dear friend, Minister Arthur Marks. He is also on my board. He serves as treasurer on my board, but Minister Marks is having a school supply drive. So I wanted to share that information on his behalf. He is collecting school supplies now through August 20th. You can email him at arthurmarksjr@gmail.com for more information. His email address again is arthurmarksjr@gmail.com. So that is ARTHURMARKSJR. So if you would like to donate supplies, please reach out to him. If you would like to receive any of the school supplies, please also reach out to him for more information. Again, we have Pastor Darius Daniels. His website is dariusdaniels.com. He's pastor of Change Church with 3 locations in the United States, and his YouTube channel is Darius Daniels TV. We have Native Love. The goal for Native Love is focused on preventing and ending dating violence for the next generation by encouraging and empowering Native youth to reclaim what healthy relationships mean for them. Their website is www.niwrc.org/native love. We also have Native Alliance Against Violence, Oklahoma's Tribal Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Coalition, tribal technical assistance provider. Their website is oknaav.org. And then we have Strong Hearts Native Helpline. Their website is strongheartshelpline.org. Their phone number is 844-762-8483. Again, our topic on tonight is setting goals for your life. And with that, I want to immediately turn it over to our guest, Fadhwa. So, Fadhwa, if you can just talk to us about goals. I think one of the very first things that I wanted to establish is that goals can be accomplished after trauma. And so I'm going to let you just take it from there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And that's so true. Goals can be accomplished after trauma, after any challenges that we go through in life, any adversity that we go through life. We can reset, we can recalibrate, we can recreate. And goals, I always say, goals are not the end to our established goals or that we want or the outcomes we want in our life. Goals are just stepping stones to get us to where we need to be. And when we look at it as that way, we remove all the burdens that we carry that comes with the goals. Why do goals, why do we struggle in the first place? Right? Think about those moments when, especially now, we're halfway, almost half, close to the end of the year, basically. Come November, December, what do we start hearing? My end of my 2024
Yep.
New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Right? And does it work? Does it ever really work? Right? I think, we look at it as, setting goals is just a place to be, a place to get. And that's it. And then I get there, that's it. I've achieved what I needed to do. But if we change the mindset around setting goals in the beginning, that's the first thing we need to start to disrupt. I love to disrupt perceptions on the things that we hold, on the things that we actually think are the norms. So let's just take a moment to actually disrupt the mindset around goals. Goals are not a means to an end. Goals are stepping stones to our desired outcome. And if we look at it as that, then we know goals will change. If they're just stepping stones, then goals will change along the way, right? As long as we know we have the North Star, and that's the outcome we're looking at, right? As long as we have our North Star, how we get there, we should be very flexible about it.
Yeah.
We should be open to it because the how is not to our power. We don't have the power to figure out how we're going to get there. That's in God's hands. It's not in our hands, right? But setting goals are just stepping stones to actually get us towards what we desire, the things, the outcomes that we actually want to desire. So the first thing is actually let's just deconstruct and disrupt that mindset around goals. Goals is not the means to an end. Goals are just stepping stones to our desired outcome.
I just I agree with what you just said. I'm sorry I had to step away for a moment, but when
Mhm.
I came back, the latter part of what you said, I absolutely agree with. But when you said the word disruption, disruption, I just wanted to throw in there because I think we can use goals and specifically thinking around the issue of trauma. I think we can use goals as a band-aid. I
Mhm.
think we can I think there is an idea that when you have been through something harsh or harmful, if you just think up something good, then the bad stuff will go away. So when you said disruption, that's what I thought of, and I just wanted to throw that out there that you cannot use the idea or the action of setting goals to try to avoid dealing with what the real issue is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And that's why we want to disrupt this mindset of it's if I do this, it's going to get me what I want, right?
yes, yes,
Right? Because we it will change. We know what we want, but how we get there may change, right? And that's why we want to be open to it. And especially when it comes to trauma, especially when we have come through a very difficult experience in our life, setting goals and getting the outcomes in life that we want to go through that process in the most authentic way as possible, and a true representation of what our values are, right? So goal settings are not just, like you said, a band-aid solution, or it's a one step fits all for everyone. It's going to look very different for everybody, because depending on where we are in our life. So we have somebody who has gone through this experience, and they're in a part in their life where they're starting over. And I know what that looks like, starting over. I have started over many times in my life, and we don't have clarity at times. Where do I want to go? What is it that I want in my life? And to actually just look at it, oh, okay, before I set goals, what is it that I want? What are the things that I want to achieve in my life? What is it that I desire the most? What is it that in this moment, in this very moment, that I need, that needs my attention? For everyone, it's going to be different. One may be financial goal, one may be a health goal, one may be a housing goal, one may be a family goal, right? Because when you're coming from that environment, we have priorities that we have to look at. And then how do we set those goals that are in alignment with those things that we value the most, right? So actually having clarity and actually sitting down and say, okay, out of writing down, actually, this is what I actually talk to my clients about. Write down 10 things, start with 10 things, write down 10 things in no particular order. Write down 10 things. And out of those 10 things, they're all equally important, I'm sure. But taking a moment to actually reflect and say, out of these 10 things, what are the three most important things that needs my attention in this moment? And actually taking those three out of the 10 and writing it down. And then coming back again and asking ourselves, out of these three, what is the one that I can actually right now in this moment? In this moment, because sometimes we get overwhelmed and we lose clarity. So to remove clarity and to gain clarity, we need to remove the chaos. And when we narrow down the things that are really important to us, and we actually sit down and say, okay, these are the three things, it doesn't mean I'm negating the other seven. I will come back to them. But these three are most the ones that are shouting out for me, for my attention. And then looking at those three and asking ourselves, what is the one thing that I can do out of these three right now, this moment?
Yes, I love that. I think that is absolutely amazing. You have to determine what it is that you need before you start gathering goals, putting goals together. I think that's awesome. And I believe another very strong point is that you have to establish what are my needs and
Mhm.
what are my wants, because
Yes.
they are not the same. So
Mhm.
I think that was an awesome point. Erin, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, first, just thank you for sharing how to be very specific on how to prioritize. Um, because I hear what you're saying when you were mentioning all those things from housing to family life to financial resources, or it can feel overwhelming. And sometimes maybe we don't even bother to look at what it is that we're needing, because so, at times it's so much, especially when we hit rough patches. And so for you to be able to say, okay, just allow yourself to write them down, and then take another look and say, okay, what's the top three? And then even go back to that and say, what can I do right now? And that is so um, freeing, right? Because we can absolutely do that one thing right now for that prioritized goal. And that feels so good to have a stepping stone, and to like take that step to meeting those goals. um, Fadhwa, I was wondering how you. I've been doing a lot of work around feelings,
Mhm.
and how you connect with your work, and this idea of setting positive life goals with how you're actually, there's how you feel, but then there's how you want to feel. Can
Yeah.
you speak to that a little bit, maybe?
Mm. I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, because it's so powerful when anytime we have a goal in life, and what if every outcome that we want in our life, we want to be able to attach it with an emotion. And when we're not able to attach it with an emotion, it just becomes a goal. It has no meaning. So we want to be able to attach meaning and emotion to that goal. And I'm so happy you actually asked that. I think also one of the things that we want to also look at is really recognizing the feeling you're talking about and the emotion. Is my fear driving this goal, or is the emotion coming from an authentic place, or is fear driving? So these are the areas that we really want to also pay attention to, because anytime fear drives a goal or our dream or anything that we pursue in life, is going to create chaos. It's going to create chaos. So it's really understanding and taking time, especially when we are coming from that environment, right? Is fear is fear driving this? Am I doing this because of fear, or am I doing it because it's coming from that authentic place within me? And this is the place where I want to do this because it has meaning. It means something to me. I don't know if I was able to answer your question, Erin.
Absolutely. I love that, because if we don't check in on if our goals are associated with fear or anger or anxiety, like all of those emotions, then when we get, then I feel like then the heart and God and all the powers aren't going to really be supportive of us on that goal, which can create chaos, and all kinds of side, it's like you get off your path, right? If you're setting a goal for a reason that's based on fear, then you're now farther away from your where you're supposed to be, I think. So thank you for, yes, that was a beautiful response. Thank you.
Mm.
Well, ladies, I thank you again very much. And again, I apologize for what's happening behind me. It's louder than what I anticipated. So I have a thought that I just want to throw out there, and then Erin, I'm going to ask you to just take it from here. What I thought of as you were speaking, Fadhwa, is that I just wanted to throw out there: small goals are valuable. So it doesn't have, so when you put your list together, if you put down the 10 items, and then if you take three out of the 10, and then you take the one out of the three, uh, don't focus on size. Because I think we can overwhelm ourselves with that notion of this is too small, this is minute, this doesn't mean much, doesn't mean anything. So I just wanted to say that small goals are valuable. And also, it may not be small. I mean, if it's important to you, then it's important. So don't measure against anyone else or another idea. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'll give it to you, Erin, now.
Sorry, I just had to figure out how to unmute myself. Just the usual technological challenges. Oh my goodness. Well, so Fadhwa, I was reading over. I wanted to would you be okay if I read your mission statement? I know you have your own show, but I just really connected with that, and I want to kind of take a deeper dive into your work through that mission.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull that up. And Love Bay listeners, so this is on thegemsoflife.com, which is Fadhwa Yusuf's website to her individual personalized life coaching and all the services that she offers, including an additional podcast that she has just launched, with which Fadhwa, I'd love for you to speak about. But let me just read over your mission statement, because it is absolutely gorgeous, and I really feel like this is something I'm resonating with in my own life, and I would love for as many people out there to resonate with this, because it brings it brings power back to ourselves. So here it is. Here is Fadhwa Yousaf's mission in the Gems of Life website.com, or her mission for her work. Her mission is to ignite the spark within individuals, empowering them to step into their own radiant light, to reclaim their inner power, and courageously show up as the truest versions, as their truest versions. She passionately believes that within each person lies a unique gem of untapped potential and authenticity. I'm going to read that again. She passionately believes that within each person lies a unique gem of untapped potential and authenticity, waiting to be unearthed and transformed. Through unwavering guidance, she works with individuals to master their lives, rewrite their stories, and embrace their hidden gems, radiating their magnificence with a purpose that resonates deeply, abundance that overflows, and an unwavering sense of genuine joy and inner peace. Woo, yes. I want some of that. And lastly, with a commitment to positive change and personal growth, she is dedicated to helping individuals discover their brilliance, navigate their transformative journey, and live a life that aligns with their deepest desires. Wow. Wow. So thank you for letting me read that. And I would just love to know, what was your journey that led you to know that as your mission?
I mean, thank you for that. As you're reading it, I'm just touched. It's like, wow, is that me?
Yes, it is.
Like I'm just emotional just hearing that, because it's sometimes, we go through life and you go through this transformation and growth, right? And you forget how far you had come. And thank you for reminding me that, because sometimes I think I forget that the journey that I've been through, and the experiences that actually got me here. Ooh, wow. I think my journey, I would say, it started back in 2017. It has been like all my life. But to be honest, I think everything happened for me. I call it the year of awakening in 2017. A single parent, two children, and I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking, how did I get here? And who am I? How did I get here and who am I? And how did I lose me? And I had this deep sense of void, just so dark and so deep that I felt like I was just swallowed whole in that voidness. And I didn't know my way out. I just felt lost in that void. And I didn't know how to move forward in life, or who to talk to about it. Because anybody that I talked to, I have this void, they thought I'm just talking crazy. They could not relate to it or resonate with it. So when I came to find out that this is just stuff happening, that I don't know what is happening, but there was this flicker of light in me that was just saying, I want more. I want more. I want more. And that it was hungry. It was just hunger for wanting more. And in that moment, I, looking back now, I'm thinking, I don't know if I could do that today. I don't know if I have the strength or courage. And this goes back, right? When you reach a point in your life and you do things, you don't recognize how much strength and courage you have within you until something happens. And in that moment, I actually left everything. I sold everything, did a garage sale, purchased a one-way ticket with my two kids and with our suitcases only, and went to Africa. No plan B, nothing. And everybody thought I had lost it. And I kept saying to them, how do you lose something that is already lost? How do you lose something that's already lost? I'm on a path to find me again. And everybody thought I had lost it. So I had gone, and one of the things that they kept asking is, what are you going to do there? I said, I'm going to just do what God meant me to do. He's going to provide for me. And I went. Fortunately, I stayed at our home, my parents' home. They built a home back, and it was the first time my kids had been to Africa. And I would say the first 3 months, it was just going through myself and just enjoying the moment. But 6 months after, I remember I was watering the garden, the flowers, and my daughter had recorded it, and she played the video, and it was the first time I had my laughter in a long, long time. It was the first time I had my laughter, and I was like, wow, my laughter is beautiful. You could literally see, and I could see that smile. And I was like, oh, I'm onto something. I'm onto something. And 18 months later, I came back to Canada, and I never looked back. I never looked back. Did I have any goals in life at that moment? No, because I was clueless as to who I was, right? And I know I'm not alone in this. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know. Forget about my passion. Do you think I would? I didn't even think I'll ever do what I'm doing right now. It never crossed my mind. It wasn't. It wasn't in my sense, in my image in that moment. All in that moment was 2017 is okay. 2019, I'm back. I need to take care of my family. I have no home, no job, no money. I'm starting over. I'm starting over, and I'm in a basement house with my family that I'm staying with. And it was that moment, one of the goals that I wanted to do. The first thing that I wanted to do was I said to myself, everything I have known has taken me this far. And for me to move forward in my life, what I know is no longer enough. So I need new information to take me further. I didn't know what further looked like. See, that's the thing, right? We don't need to worry. Even when we're setting goals, you don't need to have, sometimes we don't have that further where it is. We don't have that North Star yet. But we know we want to get somewhere. We know we want to get out of this situation to go somewhere, right? And in that moment, it was like, oh my God, whatever I know has taken me this far, and it's not enough to take me next to the next level. I need new information. And in that moment, it was like, okay, what I know is not enough. What do I need to do? Oh, I need information. Okay. And it was the first time I was introduced to self-development world. And Erin, Miss Tia, it was the first time I actually sat in front of the mirror and I had to make a choice. The money that I didn't have, that I was supposed to invest in this program, that was enough to buy me a car if I needed to furnish my entire home if I needed to. How do you make that decision? You have a home that you don't have yet that you need to furnish. You need to spend money that you don't have, but yet there's this something in me that's saying, I want more. This is not it for me. And I made that decision. And I invested in a program that I didn't have money for. I made the decision, not knowing how I was going to pay for it. But I said, I'm doing it because that's what I want. I want to change my life. Therefore, I have to take that next step. I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know what it will do. I don't know the impact it will have in my life, but I'm going to go for it. And I invested in that program. And guess what? Within a few days, I got a job. Within a few months, I had moved to my new apartment. Within 5 months, I'd paid off the entire amount of that program. And did that program completely change my life? No, it was the door that opened up many doors that continue to open up for me today. That's where I am.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you for showing an example of what it takes, the courage it takes to jump into the unknown because you're being pulled by a calling that is stronger than the minutia sometimes of this world, right? Like even the and you didn't allow that to get in the way of that deep calling that was coming from something bigger. And I loved how you said that that was the doorway, because that also is a metaphor that um that even that program wasn't the answer,
No,
right?
no. Mm.
And that, and what you said in the beginning when Minister Tia was speaking with you, and you were sharing about the 10 things, the 10 steps for the goals, and just how you said they're stepping stones. So you sometimes can't know what the next goal needs to be. You have to just take that next step. So, wow, what a beautiful story. And it started with your daughter capturing an image of you that you had forgotten about yourself,
Mm.
your laughter and that joy. That's that's amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful circle. Hmm. Thank you. Yes. So now, so that was into the doorway. Um, tell me a little bit, tell us and our listeners a little bit about now that it's culminated in the gems of life, and how did you get to that being your offering?
Mm. Mm. That's a really great question. And yeah, absolutely. I did not know 2019 this is what I'll be doing, because I needed to figure me out first before I figured out what I want to do in this world, right? And I think each one of us has a purpose. We've been brought to this world for a purpose, for a reason. And we have to go through the experiences and events in our life, and those are the experiences that will actually direct us to our purpose, right? So I'm grateful for the journey, for the transformation. I think the first time I recognized that there's something in me that somebody else can benefit, and it was just shortly after the self development program that I started taking, and it was about the image that you hold in your mind. And I remember the first videos that I had actually I did. It was Accelerate Your Life 2020. That's how the Gems of Life started. It was given birth to from Accelerate Your Life 2020. And I was just so inspired because I started realizing there's an image we hold in our mind that does not resonate with who we truly are. There's an image we hold in our mind based on society, based on programming, based on limitations, based on beliefs, belief systems that we hold, right? And this image prevents us, stops us from doing the things that we were meant to do. It holds us back. It's like it's we are entrapped in that belief. And the moment I looked at the image that I held in my mind, and I'm thinking, this is not true for me. It's no longer speaking for me. And that's the moment I realized, oh, I need to start sharing this. Right. And it just started that way. And the moment I started doing that, and I had to go through a lot of learning and inner work. When I talk about the mission and how to be really stepping into our light and really getting to our authentic self and, the essence of who we are and the gem that we all hold within ourselves, is actually taking the inner journey. So for me, if there was one important goal that I want to invite to the listeners today, is get to know you. I think that's the first goal we need to establish. Because I realized that there was a lot of superficial goals on the surface levels. But those goals, yes, they will get us to a point. But I think one of the things that I had priorities, I had a home to find, right, for my children. I had a job to find. I had to make money. Those were bigger goals for me to do. But then I couldn't achieve that, because if I could achieve that any day, but how would I have grown as an individual, as a person, right? I would not have been the person I am today had I just done what I knew, right? So it's coming back to doing the things that we are not comfortable with. It's getting uncomfortable. I say be unrealistic as much as you can. We got to disrupt. We got to get out of, we have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. What does that mean? Doing the things that makes us uncomfortable, that actually come back to within ourselves, and getting to learn who we are, because that makes us uncomfortable. We don't want to go there because there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain. But I'm saying this, it's possible. And in that pain, there's light in it. But in order for us to go through that light, we have to go through the pain. We have to go right through it. We have to go right through it. And that's what I did. I had to do a lot of inner work within myself. I had to unpack and peel a lot of layers that got me where I am today. And that's why the gems, why do I say the gems of life? Because each one of us, there's gems in our experiences, in the events in our lives, in the people that we meet in our lives, the relationships, even the ones that didn't go very well. When we have healed, we can actually reflect and we'll find gems in that too. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Um, I'm wondering too about how, when you said that you had to go through the inner work and to find that gem within yourself, at that point when you started to discover that there was something more to you than the constructs that society or popular the
Mm.
culture or whatever puts up upon you, right? Or even family or friends, like that, they think of you in a certain way. And when you started to realize that there was more and that there was something new and different that hadn't really been revealed and uncovered, as you said, is that something where you started to look around and notice that there were other women in your life or other people in your life that were experiencing that same thing?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, one of the closest person that I would say that actually ignited that part, that I realized, oh, it's not just me, it's people that are around me. And how am I also impacting others? And how is my past impacting those around me? Right? And until I resolve what is within me, it's going to continue not only impacting me, but those around me. So one perfect example would be my daughter. My daughter now is 20, but this was about 3 years ago. Um, I've done a lot of work and I recognize these parts of me that I had come to know a little bit more. And that's the disconnected parts, the detached parts. And these are the protective parts. And I recognize this disconnection in our relationship. And I started to observe a little bit more. And apparently, to me, it looked as there was a disconnect between us. And here I was thinking I was a great mother, not a perfect mother, but I was a good mother, did whatever I could within my capacity. So we had a conversation. I invited her to have a conversation with me. And I said, this is what I'm noticing. And this is a space where we can create that safe that you can share. And she actually confirmed, yes, mommy, I'm disconnected here with you. And these are the reasons. And she mentioned, and it goes back to 2017, where I was so disconnected with myself, so much so emotionally detached, that I was not even aware that my pain was transferred to my children, especially my daughter. I was so blind to it. And I didn't even realize how much it impacted her. I thought, showing up and doing everything as a mother, cooking, cleaning, providing all the basic necessities in that moment was enough. But I didn't realize that I was emotionally disconnected, not just with myself, but with her. And when we had confirmed that, that's when I realized, oh my, I still have work to do within myself. So one thing I did was I didn't have to do anything for her or with her. I didn't have to change anything about her. I started working deeper within myself. And today, if I tell you from that to now, it's day and night. Our relationship is day and night. And all I had to do was work within me, just come back inside me. And the work that I'm doing now is anytime I'm working with my clients, because I see that now. I see that with the clients that I work with. I see that in other relationships outside of here. When I'm having a conversation, I'm able to see that connection. I'm able to gauge. I'll give you an example. I was at an event a couple of months ago, and this one of the person who was there asked a question to one of the workshop person who facilitator, and the answer did not resonate with that person. So I walked up to that person and I said, I don't want to assume. Would you be okay if I share what my thoughts are? And I did. And this person looked at me and said, "Oh my God." She ended up being my client because I saw something the other person could not see. And I was able to work with her to a point where now she sits and sends me messages at times randomly and says, "Is it so normal to be at peace and not anxious?" For the first time, she says, "I am not anxious and I feel so at peace. Is this normal?" I said, "You always had it in you. You've just removed the chaos now." Yeah.
Mm, I love that. I love that you asked for permission. And so much of when people move into their power, into their strength, into their courage, it's it's because we give consent, right? Like, yes, yes, please tell me. We can learn wisdom when we say yes, when we know we have that choice to to gain it, right? And so you said, can I offer that wisdom to you? And so then that person's empowered to get support from you. Which leads me to a question from Minister Tia as well, around the importance of a good support system. And did you have that? Or did you have to first, I mean, what was your pathway to the good support system?
Oh my. You know what? I wish I could say I had great support system. I had to find this on my own. I had to I had to really find all this on my own. There has been opportunities that through the learning I was able to have support within the community that I was doing some of the trainings and doing the inner work. I had that support, but to continue doing what I'm doing right now, I think it's so important. It's so important for anyone who is in that situation of growth to actually create that. If not, go to a place where you can get that support. It makes it a lot easier because let me tell you, it was not an easy journey. Many times I felt alone in it. I felt I am alone in this journey, because I felt like I'm just moving ahead and I'm leaving everyone else behind me. Now I've learned to be like, okay, now I want to pull. I want to pull everyone. This journey doesn't have to be a lonely journey, that I can take everyone with me on this journey, that we can all go through this journey together. Yeah, it doesn't have to be alone. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. I also think too, like, some of what I heard you say about going inward and really doing that self discovery work. Um, Sometimes I think, for at least for me, I've I've gotten the support I yearned for my whole life. I actually got when I supported myself.
Yes.
It's a really strange. It was like when I loved myself enough, then my great friends showed up finally,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Hmm.
but when I was hating on
Yes.
myself,
Yeah.
I didn't seem to have a good support system whenever I didn't know myself well enough, because I was looking outside of myself for
Yes.
things that other people were never going to be able to provide
Mhm.
for me. I had to do that for me, and then the support started to line up even better, right? And then it just becomes magnified, like that love and
Yeah.
self-love and support and care. um
I'm
Another
glad you actually
Oh,
said that.
yeah.
Sorry, Erin.
No, that's
I'm glad you actually said that because oftentimes we think, for me to make a decision, for me to do whatever it is, even our goals, we attach it to people, we attach it to others, right? And decision making, we attach it to others. But when we take a moment to actually say, okay, this is so important to me and it matters to me, right? Because sometimes no one can support. We may not have anyone who will support our decisions, our choices, our goals. So
hmm
we have to be the cheerleaders of our own life, right? We have to be the cheerleaders of our own lives. We have to be the supporters. It's going to get lonely at times because you're the only one doing it alone. But you know what? You're doing it for you. You're doing it for you. And It may seem being, you're the only person doing it, and you're the only, it may seem alone, and it gets to be like that sometimes. But
Mhm.
when you can come back and actually attach meaning to it,
Mhm.
an emotion to it, it brings you peace, because now you know this, I'm doing this because it's important to me, and I am important, and I matter, and
Mhm.
what I believe in matters, and this makes me happy, it brings me peace, and we attach it with an emotion, we're able to actually keep moving.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And another piece to that as well is whenever you're fulfilling that vision of who you are, right?
Mhm.
And you're in the best image and in the best version of yourself, that you even mentioned that in some of the work that you do to getting to that best version, and creating that through that self-discovery process. I also feel like when we're in community, or when we're in a relationship, or when we're with our family members, when we are fulfilling that seeing ourselves as who we are, we can actually just be with our loved ones and
Mhm.
allow them to be them
Mhm.
without needing them to see us so much, right? And then we don't have that kind of disconnect, because we're not looking to be seen. We're just simply being present with our loved ones, or the person at the checkout counter, or the person on the subway with us, or whatever. So I love that. I love that you bring that to our attention. Um, Another question from Minister Tia. I'm kind of being her spokesperson tonight, because she's got some good party and loud prayers and music going on behind her.
She's having
Uh,
fun there, I can
yeah,
see
there's
that.
some good stuff. We know, we can feel it kind of coming through the screen, Minister
Mm.
Tia, for sure. So I know you're doing good work there. But another question coming from Minister Tia is to ask you, Fadhwa, about what are some barriers and to the goals that
Mm.
you've either had in your own life, or you see common barriers, and ways to overcome those.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And definitely, right? Anytime we set goals in life, this, like, just life itself has challenges. Life will not be as beautiful as it is without any challenges, right?
Mhm.
When you don't get challenges, you need to worry. you know I think for me, um, the greatest challenge for me, speaking for myself, even now as I'm doing this work, challenges, I think for me the biggest challenge is the mindset. It For me, I think that's, if there's, we can overcome that, then there's nothing else that we can worry about, right? I think the challenge is, even to this day, I'm still dissecting, I'm still peeling, I'm still unpacking when it comes to mindset and beliefs that we hold. And one of the challenges that prevent us from actually pursuing our goals and desires in our lives is that our mindset, the belief systems that we hold, right? And each one of us will be different. It could be, maybe I'm the belief system that we perceive that I'm a failure. I'm gonna fail anyways. So why bother? Or I've done this already. Why should I even do it again? Or why bother? And this could be even goals when it comes to redeveloping new relationships, right? You've left one relationship that was not healthy, and now you're in a place where you want to set on to new love and meet new people, and then you have that belief that I'm going to get hurt again, right? So challenges, they're always there, but I think it always comes back to getting to know your patterns. Get to know what your patterns are, right? I've gotten to know my patterns as much as I can. And sometimes I look and be like, oh, this part is coming back. Okay, then I can sit with it and actually resolve it. So get to know what your patterns are. Do you procrastinate? Is fear driving it? What are beliefs around, that you hold, that prevent you, right? For me, I think one of the biggest one, because speaking has never been an issue for me, but the one of the biggest challenges for me is, writing. I actually thought that I was not a good writer. And that was a belief that I held. And here I was, I'm writing my book, I'm writing all this stuff, I'm publishing all these workshops that I'm having. But writing was always a challenge for me. So we want to be able to question where that belief is coming from. Where is this coming from? Is this true for me? Or is it just something that was planted in me? And then once we're able to dissect that, we can actually work with that and say, hey, no, where can I find proof that actually I'm good at it? I'm actually great at this. And look at the proof. You're going to find proof that you have done it before and you've been very successful at it. Right? So we want to be able to challenge even those assumptions that we hold and the perceptions we hold of these challenges. Right? So going back to mindset, I think the biggest thing for us is always mindset. And there's nothing wrong with us coming back and actually being curious and asking ourselves, what is this belief? Is this true for me? Is it adding value? Is this belief adding value to my life? And if it's not, what is it that I can replace with it? What belief can I replace with this so that I can move forward in life?
Beautiful. Can you say a little bit more about when you notice in yourself when you're being too hard on yourself?
Oh,
And
oh my, Erin.
the Erin / Minister. Yeah.
That, like, you know what? It happens all the time, right? The human mind is just so phenomenal, right? We feed stories that are so unrealistic and so untrue. And they feed us into these beliefs that we think they're true. Perfect example would be, oh, many. I have so many. Okay. This will not be related to goal setting. Actually, it is. So I was in the process of working on my coaching program. I'm in the midst of developing my coaching program and working on it. And it was like I kept struggling with this framework. I have to follow this strategy. I have to follow this because that's what's being said, you know? And I was struggling to actually follow through with it. If you look at my wall, I have the calendar, I have my day-to-day activities, my monthly activities, things that I need to do and achieve, but I still struggled. Then I realized, hold on, this is not working for me. This is somebody else's framework. It may have worked for them, but it's not working for me. And why is it that I have to follow things in a box? So I came and I challenged that concept. And the moment I challenged that concept, I said, no. Fadhwa has a way of doing things. Fadhwa has a way of achieving things. Everything that I've done in my life was not based on a framework. The decisions I've made in my life, the bold, courageous decisions that I've made in my life were not based on a framework. I just followed my voice. I followed my instincts and I did it. And that's what I've started doing now. So these challenges, the misconception of you have to do it a certain way. We want to be able to come back and ask ourselves, what works for me? I know there are people framework works for them. Fantastic. But you have to know you and get to know what works for you best. And then make that your own framework. Set your goals based on that framework that works for you. And then I think the biggest one is having that, one of the challenges is not having accountability. And one of the things that we look, yes, we have accountability, we have a community, we have somebody who's going to hold us accountable. But if we don't believe in what we're doing, how are we going to show up every day doing it? Right. So we're going to come back again with a challenge, yes, but what does it mean to me and what emotions can I attach it to it? Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest tips I can give Erin and Tier is, how do I want to experience when I achieve this goal? How is my life changed and transformed? Mm-hmm. If we just start with that, that will be enough to get us up in the morning every day. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, ladies, I want to thank you both for being with us on this evening. We're just under the hour, so I want to say goodnight to Love Bay first, and then I'll let you two ladies give your last words because it's still pretty loud in here. So, Love Bay, I thank you for listening in with us, for being with us, and Fadhwa, we would love for you to come back again when you have time. Love Bay, if you want to catch up on previous episodes from our program, you can visit our YouTube channel. We are here with you. We are here for you. You know, you can be here with us on Friday night, 7 p.m., and watch all the replays, listen to all the replays next week. And we want you to remember we're rising out of the ashes together. And with that, Erin and Fadhwa, I will leave it to you guys to say goodnight for the evening.
Yes, thank you so much, Love Bay radio listeners, and from all of you around the globe. I hope you were able to really gain, I know you were able to gain some beautiful insights from Fadhwa Yusuf sharing tonight. And thank you all for including me in the circle. It's such an honor to be with you all this evening, and especially our guest, Fadhwa Yusuf, who has shared some really personal, intimate insights into how to overcome challenges and barriers to setting really positive life goals, and how that starts with our process of self discovery and knowing ourselves. So it's just such an honor to be with you. And Minister Tia, you inspire me every day. Thank you for all that you give to this circle and also the world, and with your work. So thank you. Fadhwa.
Mm, I just want to say thank you, Miss Tia, for inviting me here. I know we were supposed to meet sometime in spring. It didn't work out, but I'm super happy to be here. I'd love to come back again and continue our conversation if you can have me again. Miss Erin, it's a pleasure to meet you here as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to go to my website and actually reading out the mission. I need to go back and just reread it. I actually read it today. I was looking over my website and read it today. So beautiful vibes there. And I just want to say thank you to our Love Bay community for always tuning in and listening in, and to all the amazing, phenomenal women who have been listening to this show. To anyone who's going through this challenge, I want you to know that this is just a stage. This is just a setup. It's a stage, it's a setup for your biggest comeback. Just remember that, and know that there's beautiful, beautiful gems within you. There's a reservoir of gems within you that's untapped, untapped. And I want to invite you to give yourself permission to take time to explore yourself, get to know you, get to know if there's one goal you want to take on today, it's just to discover you, get to know you, who you are, what moves you, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, what brings you this beautiful energy into this life. Breathe life to that breath that you're taking every single moment. Because you know what? You're amazing, you're phenomenal, you're worthy, and you are a miracle. You're a miracle to this world. Just because maybe we may not know that, but I want to remind you that you are. And to all our listeners, I want to let you know that I also have a new podcast
Yes.
that I have launched. It's the Gems of Life podcast. You can find it on Apple, on Spotify. It comes out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And you can just listen in and share your thoughts. You can find me on Instagram as well, and follow me and all my social media platforms. I'll be happy to connect as well. Thank you so much.
Yes, and please go to Fadhwa Yusuf's website, thegemsoflife.com. That's what we've been talking about this evening. If you want to work with her, she has lots of ways that you can work with her individually and collectively on that website. So thegemsoflife.com to find more of Yusuf's work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.